Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing my weekly reading recap. It may be a quick one, all things book related. Why is that? Because I think I'm in a reading slump. Oh no, the world is ending. I'm in a reading slump. I only read a couple hundred pages this week instead of a couple thousand. What am I gonna do? I don't know, probably try to read more this week or read books I like better than what I'm currently reading. Maybe I'll rewatch my 5 tips to get out of a reading slump video that I put up a couple of months ago. Link into the description down below if you haven't seen that. God, I hate myself. Anyways, yeah, what's new with me? I'm in the middle of recording another video at the time of recording this one. Maybe this will give you a little hint. I don't know why that would give you a little hint. It's not coming out until after this one. I'm doing a full day of eating, spoilers, so stay tuned to check that one out. Coming out later after this video comes out later this week. But yeah, it's Sunday. Don't have a whole lot going on. It's raining. Worked out this morning. Gonna wait for the rain to stop, go for a run maybe. Just had breakfast, made my coffee. Let's talk about books, or I guess one book. I've only been reading one book this week, and that is The Empire of Storms by Sarah J. Maas. Get that tassel out of here. This is book 6 in the Throne of Glass series. And oh boy, I think this one is sending me into a reading slump, for better or for worse. And I just wanted to talk about that a little bit. Maybe there's a multitude of reasons. First one being, maybe I am reading this series too fast. Or maybe it's just the only thing I'm reading. That could definitely be it. I got the box set in the mail, I don't even know, perhaps a month ago. And those are the only books I have been reading since I got it. And I think just being in this world for a month and this, singular writing style, obviously it's the same series, so it's gonna have the same writing style, but only being exposed to this one writing style with these one characters in this one world, I think it is sending me into a slump. A similar thing would happen whenever I would read Brandon Sanderson's vast novels. I would read one of them a month, and that was like pretty good pacing for me, one a month or so. It took me 6 months to read the series, and then I would read books in between them, but obviously those are 1,000+ pages. I think this series is like word count for word count. I think this series is about a book and a half of Brandon Sanderson's, maybe 2 books of his. So getting to that point in the series, I guess, of where I just naturally burn out of a series, or not even of a series, just of a book. So yeah, I made it to part 2 of Empire of Storms, and I think this may be a good stopping point for now. Definitely not a DNF. I'll pick it up at a later date, but I just have other books that I want to read, like basically everything on my back shelf here. And yeah, I'm also just not enjoying this book enjoying this book as much as I was previously. And I don't want to read a book if I'm not liking it. I feel like if you pick up a book knowing you're not going to have a good time, you don't get the most out of it. So I don't want to do that to myself. I'd rather read a book that I would want to and make better use of my time in that regard. But yeah, maybe it is just a couple of things, mainly being in this world, and then obviously there's a big tone shift within the series. I've especially noticed it in this book, leaning more into the romance side of things, which was never my cup of tea, and I knew that going into it. So this may be a good breathing point. Yeah, the series as a whole is still good. I would say it's still fantasy focused, if that makes sense. It is a fantasy series, but I think this book is like 50-50 fantasy romance. I have noticed more and more, it seems like on every like literally every single page, something about someone is sexualized in some way, which, I mean, you could take that as you will. I'm just sort of stating the fact that that's the way it is. And it does get dull. It sort of makes those moments hit less hard. I feel like the first half of the series, those moments wouldn't happen as much, and so it made it more believable when they did happen. But with this book, I feel like that isn't the case. And yeah, it's just not, I don't know. I feel like the series should be like crescendoing up to this giant thing, and it feels like it may be dragging a little bit, which is a shame to say, but oh well. I'll just put it down for now and pick it up at a later date. Got plenty other books to read, namely James Joyce, Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man. Didn't read this at all this week. I know in my last video I'm like, I'm gonna finish this book this week. I'm gonna finish it this week. I didn't read a single damn page of it, so it just goes to show how much of a slump I'm in. I got a lot of other books to read, and maybe I put this upon myself with my prescribed reading curriculum to try and read Ulysses by June 16th, and I had a whole host of books to try and read beforehand, namely James Joyce Dubliners, which I had already read, Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man, The Odyssey, Hamlet, and Crime and Punishment. I don't know why Crime and Punishment was on there, but it was. But I wanted to read those 5 works before picking up Ulysses. And seeing as it Bloomsday's in a week, I don't think I'm going to be able to read The Odyssey, Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man, and Hamlet, which I have left to read before then. So who knows? Maybe I'll finish Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man and then just go straight into Ulysses. We'll see. But excited to read it nonetheless. I think I need something, I don't know, a bit less daunting than this book, and also a bit less daunting than an 8-book fantasy series. So maybe just a typical, holy shit, I just had like the biggest thought ever. The other day I was thinking about this, I miss the act of reading a like standalone, just literary fiction book. And lucky for me, what is all of that behind my shelf? Standalone literary fiction. Should we pick my next read? Or like literally right now? Let's do it. Fuck it. What should we read, guys? I should probably do a bookshelf tour so you guys know what the hell I'm looking at, but alas, here we go. What stands out to me? What do I want to read? I guess I will say something here while I'm looking. Majority of this top shelf I've already read. When I just put them in the shelf when I moved, I had all the books I had already read in a pile somewhere, so most of these on the top I've read, so I'm searching through this middle shelf here for the most part. Guys, I found it. This may come to bite me in the ass again because sometimes the books that this guy recommends me are or sometimes a letdown, but this is one I'm actually really excited about. This is called Panenka, shortlisted for a post-Irish novel of the year. And what does the back say? It says, Panenka has spent 25 years living with the disastrous mistakes of his past, which have made him an exile in his own hometown and cost him his dearest relationships. Now aged 50, Panenka begins to rebuild rebuild an improvised family life with his estranged daughter and her 7-year-old son. But at night, Panenka suffers from crippling headaches that he calls his iron mask. Sorry, guys, I swear I can read. Faced with losing everything, he meets Esther, a woman who has come to live in the town to escape her own disappointments. Together, they find resonance in each other's experiences and learn new ways to let love into their broken lives. That sounds fascinating to me. It's a short book as well. Let me see how many pages, but no spoilers. 165-ish, yeah, 164. So it should be a quick one. This one, when I said like, sometimes I don't trust his recommendations, I always trust his recommendations, but that was Jack Edwards who recommended this book a couple of years ago at this point, and I've been sitting on this book for about a year. I got it because this was like so stupid, but I was like, oh, I also get migraines sometimes, and so that sounds cool. I bought this book at a very crucial point in my literary journey. I had like just basically turned up the dial as to how much I was reading. I went from like reading Harry Potter and reading The Song of Achilles, which is still a great book in my mind, to like actually being a book lover and collecting books. And so I would like watch big YouTubers like, and I still do, like Haley Pham, Jack Edwards, and every single book that they would read that I found interesting, boom, added to cart, boom. I mean, it was like so terrible. I probably bought 300 books in a year. And this was one of them, and I've been sitting on it ever since. So yeah, this one should be fascinating, I think. It sounds right up my alley, and I need to get back to reading what I want rather than what I think I should want to read. I think that's the main point. I mean, did I just solve the literary reading slump crisis? I think I did. But yeah, let me know if you guys have read this book. I haven't heard really anything about it. It's got a little fancy cover on it, so we'll see. I like this like edition. You can barely, this little like crease there, you can sort of see. I like when books have that. I don't know, it makes me feel bougie. But yeah, we'll give this one a shot. Maybe this one will end my reading slump. I guess stay tuned next week to find out. But yeah, I guess thanks for joining me. Thanks for helping me pick my next read here. Hope you have had a great week of reading. Let me know down below, what are some reading slump getting out of a reading slump tips. I don't know why that was so, whatever. Yeah, and let me know what you're currently reading, or if you finished any books this week, or if you're yourself are in a reading slump. Or if you've read any of these books that I've been talking about. I'd be really interested to know if you have read this book, because I don't think it has very many reviews on Goodreads, and so we'll see. I don't remember what the Goodreads reviews of it are. I just thought it sounded interesting and the cover looked cool. So, and that's why we pick books at the end of the day. Hey. But yeah. Man, I'm rambling. Oh well. Thanks for hanging out with me up until this point. This is a bit of a different weekly reading recap, but hey, that's just what it is. I'm not here to fabricate what I read. I know a lot of you think I read like a lot. I get comments a lot that like, oh my god, you read a lot. And I guess I do. I'm at like 26 books on the year, just about halfway through, which is definitely substantial, but that's about on par for what I normally read, I would say. And I don't think it like detracts from other hobbies in my life. I'm definitely putting a more, I know it's gonna finish this video, but I just gotta make one quick point. I'm putting more of a focus, especially in this season of my life, towards like health and fitness, but I'm still keeping reading like up to par, I would say. And I feel like I'm reading less, but I mean like my mid-year Goodreads stats say otherwise. Like, not that I actually give a shit about how many books I read a year. Clearly, I just want to read the books I want to read, and I think it's just a better use of time than scrolling on TikTok and Instagram. But yeah, I'm not too worried about it. I think that was it. You can tell I'm all scattered everywhere today. It's a weird Sunday. But yeah, about how I'm not fabricating what I'm reading. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not here to like lie and say that I read faster than I do, or I read books that I haven't read, or things of that nature. I think that's not productive for anyone. I'm here to just read the books I want to read, talk about the things I want to talk about. I think you've seen this channel is not just book related, it's probably 90% book related, but there's some other things sprinkled in there. Like I said, I'm recording a full day of eating video because I think those are just like fun to record. And I thought about doing POV driving videos. Have you guys ever seen those where people put like a GoPro on their head and then just like drive around town in their cool cars? Usually it's engaging because they drove a manual car and it makes cool sounds. I figured I would try to give that a whirl too because I just like my car. So yeah, that might be a swing and a miss, but I think it would just be fun for me to try out. And I'm rambling even more. So thank you again for sticking with me up until this point. Let me know if any of those video ideas sound good to you. Let me know if you've read any of these books. Consider subscribing if you're new. Give it a like if you liked it. And we'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for hanging out, guys.